Almost every man walks into the same trap at some point in his life. And the cruelest part is that he rarely sees it coming until the damage is already done. Because what actually erodes a man's relationships over time is not his age. It is something quieter, subtler, and far more corrosive than that. Consider why certain men, well into their 40s and 50s, remain genuinely compelling, emotionally present, and deeply attractive to the people around them, while others seem to gradually fade from the rooms they occupy. The answer has nothing to do with wealth, nothing to do with how they look, and it has absolutely nothing to do with fortune. It comes down entirely to psychology. Specifically, the psychology of emotional connection. And because almost no one explains this clearly or honestly, men continue to lose real relationships without ever understanding the reason. Here is where the pattern begins. As men accumulate experience and stability, many arrive at a quiet assumption that life should now run on logic and control. More years lived should mean fewer emotional complications, but what actually tends to happen moves in precisely the opposite direction. Men become more emotionally sealed off. Their thinking hardens. The part of them that once reached toward other people begins to pull back. And that slow internal retreat does something devastating to attraction, because attraction between people is not built on resumes or track records. It is built on feeling. A woman does not connect with a man's experience. She connects with what she feels when she is near him. A man can have every external dimension of his life in perfect order and still create no emotional resonance whatsoever. That absence is where connection dies. The deeper mistake is a gradual misreading of what maturity actually means. Many men come to believe that growing up emotionally means becoming harder, more guarded, less affected by things. They stop taking risks in how they express themselves. They stop letting themselves feel things fully. They build walls and call it wisdom. They go quiet and call it strength. But in the context of relationships, this is not wisdom. It is a slow withdrawal from the very thing that keeps love alive. Because real connection requires the opposite of armor. It requires the courage to remain open, to stay present without retreating behind a performance of control, to let another person actually see you rather than the composed version you have decided is safer to show. Over time, men who follow this path become predictable in the worst sense, not reliable, but flat. Difficult to read, hard to reach, and that quality creates distance no matter how much history or shared life surrounds it. There is something else worth understanding clearly. Love does not maintain itself. It is not a state that, once achieved, simply continues. It is something built in small, consistent moments, or quietly neglected in those same moments. Many men reach a point where they decide, consciously or not, that they no longer need to demonstrate anything, that the relationship has been established, and the effort was something that belonged to the beginning. And that is precisely where the slow erosion starts. They stop noticing the details that once mattered to them. They stop truly listening, not hearing words, but actually absorbing what the other person is carrying. Gradually, without any single dramatic event, the warmth in a relationship begins to thin. Not in a sudden break, but like a fire that no one tends, fading so gradually that the cold has already settled in before anyone reaches for more wood. Attraction in a relationship that has moved past its early stages is not about performance or impression. It is about the quality of feeling a person experiences in your presence. Do they feel calm? Do they feel genuinely seen? Do they feel something real when they are near you? Without that emotional aliveness, everything eventually becomes routine, and routine, left uninterrupted, slowly suffocates desire. This is what separates the men who remain genuinely compelling as they grow older from those who slowly disappear. It is not perfection. It is the refusal to stop creating real emotional experiences with the people they love. It is the ongoing choice to stay interested, stay present, and stay connected, even when comfort and habit make withdrawal feel easier. The most important thing to understand is that it is never about what you say. It is about what another person feels when they are standing next to you, the quality of your attention, the way you listen, the energy you carry into a room. These things communicate everything long before any words are spoken. A man who genuinely understands this does not need to work hard to impress. His presence does the work. It carries confidence without the brittleness of arrogance. It expresses genuine interest without the desperation of neediness. It holds a calm that comes from real security rather than emotional shutdown. That combination is genuinely rare, which is exactly why it is so consistently noticed. But the most critical point of all is this. The single greatest mistake men make as the years accumulate is that they stop growing emotionally while continuing to grow in every other direction. Careers advance, financial understanding deepens, professional experience compounds. But the inner capacity to connect, to love with presence, to remain emotionally alive inside a relationship, that area gets left behind. And it is that stagnation that eventually makes everything else irrelevant, because relationships do not run on logic or accomplishment. They are sustained by connection. When that connection stops developing, the rest of it gradually loses its meaning no matter how impressive the surrounding architecture of a life appears. The truth is not complicated, even if it is uncomfortable to sit with. A man's value in a relationship has nothing to do with how old he is. It has everything to do with his capacity to connect. And the most powerful part of all is that this capacity is not fixed. It is not a talent you either have or do not have. It is something that can be developed, practiced, deepened, and genuinely mastered. If that understanding settles into you, the result is not just better relationships. It is a complete transformation in how the people closest to you experience being near you. If this reached something in you, pass it on to someone who needs to hear it.